Have you ever felt like you're talking to your man and he's not listening, or worse, he shuts down, or even worse than that, World War III breaks out in the house? Well, then this video is for you because I'm going to be teaching you how to communicate as a feminine woman with masculine men, because most of us were not taught how to do this, and it's causing a lot of friction in our dating. It's causing a lot of friction in our marriages, and honestly, it's just causing a lot of friction in life, period. Hi, my name is Amanda. Welcome to this channel where we talk about how to manifest what you want in life without all the extra stress, chaos, and drama that most people are accustomed to. So if that's something that you're interested in, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single video that we have coming out on this channel. We're currently in the middle of our Divine Feminine communication series because many in the community have been asking for a lot of advice in terms of, how can I attract a masculine man? How do I talk to a masculine man? How am I in relationship with a masculine man? So I got you. And if you like this video, make sure to give it a like because it helps us get it in front of more women. I've mentioned this before. There's so much confusion out here in terms of what feminine energy is and masculine energy. There's a relationship crisis going on all over the world, and we're trying to solve that. So by you giving this a like, it helps us get it in front of more women who need this information so that women don't keep ending up in relationships with feminized men who make their lives a living hell. And as always, I have extra resources to help with anything that every time I put out a video, I've got resources for those of you who want to go deeper. In this case, it's going to be our masculine and feminine energy dynamics masterclass, where I go into not just the skills, which is what we're going to be talking about in this video, but a lot of the energy behind what you are saying, because that is just as important as what you are saying to a masculine man. So you can check that out below, as well as all the other resources and courses that we have available to help you create the best life possible. Okay, so this is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the psychology of masculine men, because those of you who want to attract masculine men, most of you are probably married to masculine men, but perhaps it's gone a bit dormant, right? A lot of times it's because we just don't understand the psychology of men. And this isn't like some woo-woo thing. This is just understanding that men and women communicate in different ways. Our brains intake information in different ways, and also because of conditioning, we just see the world totally differently, and that's great. We just have to learn that about each other and then learn how to communicate based on those differences. We're also going to talk about some of the most common feminine communication mistakes that we've all done, myself included, okay? No one here is perfect. We all do this because no one taught us how to do this. It's just some of us went to go find the information and now share it with others. And then finally, how to shift your energy for more connection, more respect, and also, how to actually inspire your man. A lot of you are like, how do I inspire him to go make more money? How do I inspire him to, make decisions and not leave everything on me? We're going to be talking about that today. So first things first, what is feminine communication? Feminine communication is open, it's expressive, it's emotionally attuned, and it's receptive, whereas masculine communication is direct, solution-focused, and structured. And again, if you want to go deeper into this and how that polarity works, make sure to check out our masculine and feminine energy dynamics masterclass below, because I go a lot deeper into this in that masterclass, and I show you how it applies to different areas of your life, from making more money to relationships to dating to marriage, everything in between. So, but long story short, right? The masculine wants to solve and the feminine wants to express. I sometimes say, and I say this lovingly, men talk in a straight line and women talk in circles, right? Men will get straight to the point. How do we solve this? How do we get this done? And it's very direct because they're protectors and providers. That's what they're wired to do. Whereas women, we're a lot more expressive. We can go in circles. We can go in all these windy little ways. I'm sure that you have had conversations with other women in your life where you've touched on 15 different topics in that one conversation, and somehow you can tie it back to what you were talking about originally. Yeah, women can do that. Men, not so much, right? So it's one of the differences in terms of men and women. So a lot of women will get frustrated because they're actually talking to their man, especially a masculine man, as if he's her girlfriend. And then that's where we run into issues. That's why we need girlfriends, right? That's one of the reasons why I started this YouTube channel, because I need girlfriends too. I live the international lifestyle. We're in between countries. I need international girlfriends all over the world, right? But what happens is a lot of times, because we don't know this, then we talk to our men like they're our girlfriends, which, by the way, right, if you are with a man who talks to you all day long and kikis and gossips with you and wants to know about what fulana de tal is doing and all that kind of stuff, run, because he's a feminized man or he's gay, right? So, but if a man is like, I can't take this, and they're getting frustrated, it's actually a pretty good sign that they are a masculine, straight man. So I just wanted to throw that in there for those of you who are getting frustrated by your man's reactions. His reactions are okay, right? It's just how we are expressing ourselves that can change his reaction. And I always say this, like, a lot of times women just have to go first. And the reason why women have to go first is because we actually have so much influence in our environment, and most women just don't know how much influence they actually have. So to a lot of the women who are like, why doesn't he change first and then I'll change? It's never going to happen, because you're the one who has the most influence in the whole situation, and then you just need to learn how to communicate that influence. So now we get into understanding male psychology. Main thing you need to know here: men just want to feel respected, trusted, and needed. They're wired to solve problems, not dwell in the problems. They're wired to protect and provide. They're always providing something, okay? Even in the way that they communicate, that is a form of provision, because they're usually trying to solve a problem. And men, usually, when they say something, they mean it. They don't talk in metaphor and circles. If you find a man who talks in metaphor and circles and all this flowery language, again, run, because it's not a masculine man. And men also want to feel valued for their actions, right? They play for points, okay? They play for points. And their entire goal is to make you, the feminine, happy. Now, a lot of women out here on the internet will have you thinking that all men are trash and they just want to make women's lives a living hell. No, unhealthy men are trash and want to make women's lives a living hell. Healthy masculine men want to give you the whole world. And most women just don't know that, right? So I'm telling you. So respect equals love to a masculine man, and disrespect, even if it's unintentional, and we all do it, okay? Because to us, like, if we're talking to our girlfriends, it wouldn't seem disrespectful, but if we take those same communication styles and we take it to our man, he's going to take it as disrespect. So a lot of us out here are just unintentionally disrespecting men all the time, and we just don't even know that we're doing it, right? And respecting a man has nothing to do with, being docile and not having an opinion or anything like that. It just has to do with how you are expressing these things. Because when you're disrespecting him, whether some of you are doing it intentionally, but let me do benefit of the doubt and say that most of it is unintentional. It either shuts him down or it makes him defensive. So either he stops talking or World War III breaks out. And that's what we're trying to avoid. So here's how you can show respect through feminine communication. Number one, listen without interrupting. I've said this before. It's hard because when we see loved one, like, let's say he's coming to you with a problem or something. If they're a loved one of ours, like, we want to help them. We want to make them feel better, right? So our instinct is like, how do I make them feel better? Right? That's what we want to do. But to them, they will see the interruption as disrespect, even if you see it as helpful. So one of the things that you want to do is you want to let him complete his thoughts before jumping in. And oftentimes, I've had this thing happen where, like, he will complete his thoughts and then I'll be like, do you need help with it? And then he's like, no, I was just letting you know what's going on. I was like, okay. Right? So sometimes it's that. Sometimes they don't even need your help. They're just getting it out of their system. Right? Now, in terms of help, this is another way in which women unintentionally disrespect men, is that you're always trying to help them and solve the problems, right? A lot of times they don't need your help. If they actually need your help, they're going to directly ask you for the help. So a lot of times the way that this looks like is when you have like a healthy masculine feminine dynamic, a lot of times, a lot of women don't know this. And again, it's because most women don't know how much influence they have over their men and over their children and over their environment in general. A lot of times what will happen is that he will come to you for counsel. It's almost like you're the oracle, you're the counsel, you're a trusted advisor, right? So he's going to come to you if he needs to have a problem solved or wants your opinion. You don't have to interject it. So that's another way in which women, accidentally disrespect their men and don't realize that they're doing it. And again, we've all done this, okay? Because most of us, no one showed us how to do any of this, which is why I'm showing you now. The other one is don't take correction as criticism. This is, again, hard, okay? It's hard for us, especially if we grew up in an environment where there was a lot of criticism, like I did. So masculine men, they're wired to optimize, right? They always want to make something better, whether it's a system or something in the house, or they're trying to help you be better at something, or they're trying to help the kids be better at something. They're always trying to make it better, and they're always trying to optimize. So in him giving feedback or trying to fix something, it's oftentimes because they care, not because they're attacking you. And again, this is very difficult to comprehend for those of us who grew up in households where there was a lot of criticism, especially when it was the women dealing out the criticism. Because when a woman is criticizing, oh, she's going in, right? When she's trying to fix something or say you did this wrong or what, she's going in. But when a man is doing it, first of all, like he rarely uses that language. He's just trying to make the situation better to optimize it because that's what they're wired to do. So we have to learn not to take those types of things personally. And again, difficult to do, and no one taught us this. So until somebody teaches you and until you understand it and until you try it and practice it, then it's kind of hard for you to even consider how this is a thing, right? But one of the things that I often say is the sign of an intelligent person is someone who understands that, number one, they don't know everything, and number two, they have emotional mastery. And that's part of what we have to learn how to do in this situation, is realizing that most of us, especially when it comes to the opposite sex, we weren't taught anything. There's always something we can learn. They're not our girlfriends. They communicate in a totally different way, and there's something that we can learn there about how to better communicate with our partners and how to better communicate in dating without getting in our feelings about it. And one of the reasons why I want to go through this is because once you understand the psychology, then you don't get in your feelings about it anymore, because you understand that it's not personal and it's not an attack. It's just different psychologies, and that's totally fine. The next thing to keep in mind is if you want to talk about a big thing, maybe there's something going on with your kid, maybe there's an issue, maybe there's something that's really important to you that you want to express, then you want to schedule time to talk about those big things, because masculine men hate being interrupted. And again, this is just something that we have to learn if no one's ever taught us, right? Because masculine energy, they like structure and they like clarity. They speak with clarity. That's why I also said previously, like, if you got a dude who uses a bunch of metaphors and flowery language and likes to kiki with you on the phone all day long, he gotta go, because that's not a masculine man. Masculine men don't have time for any of that, and they like structure and they like clarity, and they're on purpose. So they're not going to waste your time or their time on that kind of stuff. And then when they're very focused, right, they hate being interrupted, again, because they see it as disrespect. Even if you're not trying to be disrespectful, that is how their psyche is going to take it. So one thing you can say is, hey, my love, I'd love to talk to you about something important. When is a good time for you? And then you schedule it and you figure it out. You don't ambush him with drama, which is what a lot of women do. They'll go into a flurry, they interrupt, they ambush, it's a whole show. He's irritated, then you're irritated, World War III breaks out. That's what we're trying to avoid. And the way in which you can avoid that is by scheduling the time to talk. Another thing you can do, which I'm surprised at how little women actually do this, and again, most of us just weren't taught this stuff, is you want to appreciate his efforts verbally. I try so, like, I gotta say this I was pretty good at, because I'm the type of person who, like, if ever since I was a kid, if I saw that something did not work, I would go out of my way to do the opposite, not even understanding the psychology or the reasoning behind doing the opposite, just because I was like, well, that obviously didn't work, so let me go try the other thing. And I've been doing that since I was a kid. And one of the things that I did, because it was the opposite of what I saw, is that I am constantly very appreciative of my husband, right? A simple thank you for handling that. It makes me feel so good. Like he paid the light bill the other day, and because he's a masculine man and a provider, and that's what they do is they cover the bills. If he's not doing that, we need to have a little talk. But he paid the light bill the other day, and he's like, hey, I paid it. And I was like, thank you so much. I appreciate everything you do. That makes me feel so loved and protected. Like that goes a really long way to a masculine man because again, they play for points and they play for your happiness. And when you are appreciating him rather than criticizing him, which is what most women do, he feels seen, respected, and he's encouraged and inspired to keep doing better and keep stepping up. When you learn how to do that, oh my God, this is when men go from like doing okay to doing amazing. And this is part of your value as a woman that most people don't understand. Men need you in order to do well in life, okay? Or at least to do better in life. They need you. And the thing is that most women don't know that. So women devalue themselves constantly in relationships and dating situations because they have no idea how much power they actually have. Men know how much power you have. Masculine men know how much power you have. That's why they respond to it so well. And feminized men know how much power you have. And that's why they try to take it from you all the time. If you've not checked out my video on the types of feminized men you need to avoid, make sure to check that out. A lot of you found that very, very helpful in terms of helping you navigate this crazy dating world that everyone finds themselves in right now. And then finally, what you want to do is you want to learn how to stay in your heart, not in your head. This means a couple things, right? So number one, you want to express how you feel, not what you think. A lot of women have this backwards where they're feeling something, but they will use like think, right? Rather than saying think. So like, for example, let's say he comes to you and he's asking for your advice on something. Because again, masculine men, if they need your help, they're going to approach you. They don't need you to go fix the problem. They will ask. And then instead of saying, oh, I think maybe this might be a good idea. What do you think? They'll be like, I feel like this is what you should do. Do you see the difference, right? That has nothing to do with feeling and everything to do with your brain. Meanwhile, when it comes to something of like a feeling nature or an emotional nature, women will oftentimes, instead of saying the word feel, they'll say the word think, right? It's almost like they have it reversed, and it causes a lot of confusion in communication. So instead of saying, I feel so good when you do that, a lot of women will be like, I think this blah, 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 blah. Am I understanding? And we've all done it, right? It's just poor communication skills. And it's like a societal thing as well. I don't know if that happens so much in other countries or in other languages, but in English, we're definitely doing that, right? So it's just something to keep in mind. So here are some phrases that you can use. You can say, I feel so safe when you handle things like that. Or let's say your husband's working a lot. Oh, this is such a good example that my husband told me. And before I met my husband, I was around a lot of high performing and high achieving men because of the business that I was in. I had a lot of male mentors, and this is something they would complain about all the time that women do. So let's say he's working his buns off to provide for you, and you're just not seeing as much of him. And those of you who are married to high achievers, this is going to happen. Okay. Instead of saying like, why don't you spend time with me? You haven't spent time with the kids. Blah, 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 blah. You shouldn't be working so hard. That's what a lot of women do, okay? Because you got nothing else going on in your life, usually. Instead, you can say like, hey, I miss you. I know you're working really hard. I really appreciate it. You do such a good job taking care of us. I'm just feeling a little, disconnected right now. When can we reconnect? Totally different, because to a masculine man, especially if he's on purpose and he has drive and he's ambition, he sees the first example as bitching, right? And he sees the second example of, oh my gosh, let me, readjust here because she's right and I really miss her too. Do you see the difference? Most women do the bitching thing, and that's part of what we're trying to avoid how to do. Okay. Now we're going to go into common mistakes that absolutely kill your sex drive, your polarity, your attraction, all those things in your relationships. And I would venture to say this also keeps money away from you, because men and money are actually quite similar. So number one is the over-explaining, the over-analyzing, and the talking at him. I used to see this when I was a sales trainer, and I see it now as well. is when I was teaching people sales, there was usually a lot of over explaining, like, my product's so great because of X, Y, and Z, and you should hire me because of ABC. And there's just like this over explaining energy. And again, that goes back to that nervous energy in communication that I've been talking about on recent videos. Or talking at the person, right? What we want to learn how to do is we just want to know that we are okay as we are. One of the lessons that I used to teach in sales, which is life-changing and helps with this, is that you want to learn the difference between being passive, assertive, and aggressive, right? Passive means that you value yourself less than the person you're speaking to. So that's usually the over-explaining and the over-analyzing. Aggressive means that you value yourself more than the person you're speaking to. That usually looks like the talking at them and being combative. Assertive means that you value each person equally. And this is where we have emotional mastery, and this is where we have skills mastery. We're trying to get into that middle part right there. The next thing is a lot of women will bring their mother energy instead of their partner energy, trying to help and interrupting and all that kind of stuff. Like, that's the mother energy that wants to come out of us. So sometimes we just need to find something else to put our mother energy into. So for example, for me, it's this YouTube channel, it's the dog, it's the cat, it's the plants, right? There's something else, because we all have that energy, right? And there's just something else we have to put that energy into. Otherwise, we're going to take it out on our men. Okay, so for those of you who do the "you never spend time with me" thing, right, and you get like combative about it, go find some hobbies, go read some books, go start a business, go do something, right? That way you put your mother energy over there and not necessarily on your man. The other thing that women do that totally kills attraction is they start acting like a therapist or a life coach. And again, women think they're helping, but they're not. That's part of what I was saying earlier. If a masculine man needs your help, he's going to ask you for it. You don't have to volunteer it. And then women like to do this too. They like to test him emotionally, right? Or they manipulate in conversation, or they speak in circles or in metaphor, or they drop hints instead of just being honest about how they feel. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. Again, it's one thing to know what to say. It's another thing to understand the energy behind it. So I highly recommend checking out the Masculine and Feminine Energy Dynamics Masterclass that I have below available for you, where I go more into the energetics, the polarities, how they work together, how they work in different areas of your life, how to integrate them within you, because that's when you really start getting into that middle ground of emotional mastery. And it's also really good for nervous system regulation, so which you also need in these instances, because especially if you're newer to this kind of work, like, you're gonna get triggered. So we have to learn how to regulate your nervous system for when that happens. So check out that masterclass below. You can check out other resources I have available below as well. Thank you so much for giving me your time today. Give it a like if you liked this video. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, and I'll catch you on the next one.